Hello and welcome back. On the last episode, we unfortunately came across, well, unfortunately, in quote marks, came across Rooster's body. And because of that, Mouse began to think and remember what her father taught her. And now we are recalling everything we've been through so far. We've covered the rules of the Zodiac race and the Zodiac bid, and now it's the time for anything else. Well, I say anything else. Everything else. So, really, it's time for a recollection. Anyway, and with further ado, though, the timetable around Amadeus, in the Amadeus Bowen case. First, Horse entered Bowen's office. Then, Sheep got to her desk. Then, Horse went down to the stairs. Then Tiger entered, and she was shown to the right guest room. Then Snake entered, left his statue in the lobby, and was shown to the left guest room. Note: Snake claims that to have monitored the events through the door's window the entire time. Next, Sheep moved the statue into the storage room. Then Rooster entered, and was shown to the right guest room. Then, Rooster got sick, and made his way to the restroom. Then, Sheep went down to the stairs to the first floor to eat some breakfast. Note: this was the earliest Bowen could have been killed. Next, Rooster returned from the restroom to the right guest room. Then, Sheep returned to her desk. Then, Morris came and entered the Bowen's office. Then Morris left Bowen's office. Then Snake received a text asking him to transport the statue from the storage room to Bowen's office. Snake complied. Note: this was the latest Bowen could have been killed. Then Snake left. Then Rooster entered Bowen's office. Then Sheep entered Bowen's office. Then Sheep realized Bowen was missing and called the police. Then Bunny, who was close by, entered the building. Then Bunny found Bowen dead in the safe. Note: the slab outside the window of the guest rooms and Bowen's office may have been allowed to movement. Note: the slab outside the storage room was broken, meaning exiting through this window or moving from one guest room to another outside it would be impossible, all except for Tiger or Horse. Tiger was in one of the guest rooms alone for a while. Note: the windows were all discovered to be locked when Bunny checked the premise, which Rooster could have locked if helping Tiger. Okay, the questions around the Zodiac race incident. Why were certain people more culpable for the incident not abducted? Why were Dragon and I abducted? Why were there two phones that could control the game? Why did Brian decide to do this in the first place? Brian didn't have a choice, I think. Why did Brian seem to know about the connection between Dog and Oliver Bowen? Because Brian invented to Dog, learned about it, and had a conversation with him. Why did the Jade Emperor react strangely to Dog's question? Because it wasn't Brian. Why did the Jade Emperor attempt to incite a fight between Dragon and Snake? Because he wants Dragon gone, specifically, I'm assuming. If they planned to use that fight as a cover to execute the two, why didn't they? Why was I lured out of the building to the building Brian was inside that was rigged with an explosion? Why did Brian decide to die in said explosion? Brian was already dead, most likely. Where's Amadeus Bowen's golden knife? Probably someone, whoever is behind this has it. If somebody has it, why is there no evidence of blackmail material in it ever being used? It is. The rounds of the Zodiac race. The following cards were in the communer table at the start of the first round. Okay, so maybe it's because it's targeting Dragon and Snake and Mouse. Well, Mouse because she's... I wouldn't want to say the smartest because Ox is pretty smart. But Ox is short-sighted, I guess, in the sense of, like, he doesn't see how the trial was. He just did his job. The following cards were in the communer table at the start of the first round. Mouse of Hearts, Ox of Hearts, Tiger of Hearts, Tiger of Clubs, Tiger of Diamonds, Tiger of Spades, Bunny of Hearts, Dragon of Hearts, Snake of Hearts. I took the Mouse of Hearts. Ox claimed to take the Ox of Hearts. Tiger claimed to take the Tiger of Hearts. Bunny claims to take the Bunny of Hearts. Dragon claims to take the Dragon of Hearts. Snake claimed to take the Tiger of Diamonds. Horse claims to take the Tiger of Hearts. Sheep claims to take the Tiger of Diamonds. Rooster claimed to take the Tiger of Spades. Monkey claims to take the Tiger of Spades. Pig claimed to check Snake, who didn't have any cards at the end of the round. Hold on. Who took diamonds? Snake diamonds. Sheep took diamonds. Okay, so that's... The following cards were in the community table at the start of the second round. Mouse of Clubs, Ox of Clubs, Ox of Diamonds, Bunny of Clubs, Bunny of Diamonds, Bunny of... Dragon of Clubs, Snake of Hearts, Rooster of Hearts, Rooster of Clubs. I gave Mouse of Hearts to Tiger. Ox claimed to give the Ox of Hearts to Tiger. Tiger claims to check Ox, who reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. Bunny claimed to give Bunny of Hearts to Tiger. Dragon claimed to give the Dragon of Hearts to Tiger. Snake claimed to check Dragon, who reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. Horse claimed to check Bunny, who reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. Sheep claimed to check Dog, who reportedly had one card at the end of the round. Rooster claimed to check Mouse, who reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. Monkey claimed to check Pig, who reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. It is actually unclear what Pig did this round. No one thought to check. Whoops. At the end of round 2, people had the following scores. Mouse had 0 points, Ox had 0 points, Tiger had 6 points, Bunny had 0 points, 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 minus 1 point, 0 points. Following cards were in the community table at the start of the third round. Mouse of Clubs, Ox of Clubs, Ox of Diamonds, Tiger of Clubs, Bunny of Clubs, Bunny of Diamonds, Dragon of Clubs, Snake of Heart, Rooster of Heart, Rooster of Clubs, Rooster of Diamonds, Rooster of Spades, Monkey of Hearts, Monkey of Clubs, Monkey of Diamonds, Monkey of Spades. The evidence involving Pig and Rooster's murder. Pig expressed interest in hacking the computer to find out if the mastermind is, or to contact help. When Snake checked the crime scene, the door was locked. Snake went down to a room with Bunny and Rooster. Then when Snake went down, Bunny left. Snake stayed with Rooster. But soon after Bunny left, he joined up with Monkey in the library. At the time, I joined the Ox in the classroom on the second floor. So, yeah. Everybody else whereabouts is unconfirmed. Nobody else has an alibi. At some point, I heard a female scream come from the crime scene. The door of the room was blocked off by a bookshelf, in which Bunny moved out of the way. In the dark room, someone knocked me over. It's possible other people were knocked out of the way as well. When Bunny tried to leave the room, it was stuck. Pig's body is lying in front of the computer. Dog's golden knife is covered in blood by Pig's body. Theoretically, it was taken from the leg of Dog's corpse, exploded corpse at the center of the room. Blinds were taped over in the window with duct tape from inside the room. The books were taken out of the bookshelf before the bookshelf was shoved over. The bookshelf was moved slightly to the east before being knocked over in front of the door. The door has a thumb lock on the inside of the room. There are traces of glue on the inside of the door, as well as a high-up crack between the door and between the door closed to the door's hinges. Rooster is still alive. The left side of Rooster's neck was stabbed twice with a pen. Pretty sure Dragon, who did that then. A heavy book was lying on the floor nearby. Ox was with me the entire time since Rooster was last seen alive. Somebody washed the blood off the first floor bathroom. Okay, well, time to save once more, as we've actually read through all. I understand it all. I had it. In real time, I had barely had been a minute. And yet, the speed of dominoes falling over, everything clicked into place. Why was I able to figure it out so quickly? Because I don't think we did. Because in the back of my brain, I already had most of the pieces. I just needed to put them together. And I had. I walked out and saw Ox standing down the hallway. Hey Ox, gather everyone and bring them to the classroom. So there's 9 of us left. What? Why? And the last 3 in the race have been killed. I thought we were going to deal with Dragon. Just do it. That's all things here and now. If you say so. Ox didn't look particularly enthused. Because he complied, he left to gather the audience. He'd be soon enough. For now, I needed to get all the details straight in my head. Presentation is critical. If I messed up even a bit, I lose the momentum of the crowd. And that was the one thing I couldn't lose. Soon enough, everybody had been gathered. They'd also heard about Rooster. Here they are, Mouse. Are we in our room? Mouse, what are you doing? Tiger looked entirely bewildered by the situation. Mouse, not to bump elbows or anything, but you sure gathering everyone in one spot like this is such a good idea? Bunny, on the other hand, looked incredibly nervous. Yeah, thank you for the concern, though. Are we really going to sell things? Are we finally going to sell things? For some reason, Dragon was holding a metal baseball bat. She must have found somewhere. She's going to beat everyone to death with it. It seems that it will prove to be quite entertaining. A slight smile crept on Snake's face. Have you figured out something out? Was that a hopeful look in Sheep's eyes? I don't have time for games. Horse never failed to imitate with his large presence. Yeah. Oh well. We're all ears, Mouse. Please say what you need to. Monkey looked calm, maintaining eye contact with me. Okay, Monkey. I will. I took a deep breath and turned to face away from everybody. So, I'll be honest. I'm sick of this. Mastermind, Shredder's mysteries, treachery. I think I've genuinely had enough of deception for a lifetime. Yeah. So, let's get rid of all that, shall we? Right now, I'm going to make all the mysteries surrounding the past few weeks clear, one by one. Starting with the identity of the person who killed both Pig and Rooster. The person isn't some mystery third party, nor is it resurrected dog. A resurrected dog. It's somebody in this very room. Interesting. Time to save. Right. Has to be a girl, so it's not Horse, not Snake, not Bunny, not Ox. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've split my chances into 25 parts. Dragon's accused of many things, but Dragon was with Snake and Mouse when we were locked up. Sheep, Monkey, and Tiger. Is it? I'm gonna have to say, because I don't think it's Sheep. Sheep's always been too timid to find out things, so I'm gonna go with either Monkey or Tiger. I think it's gonna be Tiger personally. Did I save? I did. Let me finish. Room seems quiet. Satellite control. Do you want to know the reason this person killed those two? Simple. Wait. Oh. Huh. That's interesting. I just had a thought, but I think I've just picked the wrong one. Because of the traitor, first, I'm assuming. I didn't do this. This is because this game's traitor. In other words, they're in the same league as with the cat, the mastermind. And I also know who the mastermind is. I think it's Oliver Bone personally. The person who impersonated us here is the Chief of Police Oliver Bowen. I realize that's a weighty claim, but I understand everything. You need to understand where this is all started. You need to understand the truth of Amadeus Bowen's murder. It's something we've been missing out about. Somebody we've been missing. Yeah, I'm assuming the real killer because well, if it's the accomplice, I don't see why Tiger and Rooster would not. Because they had no reason to work together beforehand, I guess. But I'm saying it was possible. A third party is technically in the same league as that. So I think the real killer. Aaron Morris didn't kill Amadeus Bowen. It's true. No, the culprit is one Mr. X. I suppose the question is then is who is Mr. X? Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, Oliver Bowen would make sense, right? It would be Chief Officer of Police Oliver Bowen. Now, I'll explain how, because he did say fellow sinners. I'll explain how it all fits together. The room when it is oddly silent. They were all stunned with my brilliant deductions. I turned back around and found the room was empty. What? Hey, where do you go? Hold on. I wasn't putting anything together. Was I not convincing enough? Was I somehow... But before I could think of it more, I felt my stomach start to get warm. Warm? The explosion reached my brain before I realized what was coming. What? Boom. The Red Joker. There's an infinite ways for this universe to fail. This is merely one. Okay. So yeah, I'm assuming, yeah, he's definitely got it wrong then. So, yeah, in Monkey's Road, I remembered that obviously he was rescued by someone. And Dog and obviously Mouse is left confused. That's, let me finish. Roman silent, is this? Still out of control, so it's new text either way. Is this the thing that made everything? Well, actually, there's one of the last. Whether the traitor of the mastermind. Because. Now this is where I'm confused. Because Monkey working with Brian, so Brian's like the host during the game, and that's why they ran off, because it was because obviously Monkey didn't need the help, I'm assuming, right? So what if Monkey was the mastermind? That's the best. That's right. The Monkey was the person. Unexpectedly, Monkey was the person who spoke up against the cat. So if it was her, she could, plan it, like schedule it, record it. The person behind this very game, the Zodiac bid, they are the cat. And how do? What else do you know? But yeah, that would have to make them. That would actually have to make Monkey in charge of the Zodiac race, I guess. Is it capture the true mastermind? No. It'd also be the true cover of the Zodiac race. I realized the way to claim. But to understand everything, you need to understand where this all started. You understand the truth about Amadeus Bowen's murder. This is something we've been missing out. Someone we've been missing, the real killer, right? Which isn't... not Mr. X. Who's Mr. X? Oliver Bowen? Yeah, it was Chief of Police Oliver Bowen. Now, I'll explain it all fits together. The room is oddly silent. It's done by my... turn back around it. What? Oh no. Okay. I think this is gonna take a bunch of trial error, so I'll cut to when I actually find the right answer, right? So see you there. Alright, let's see if it's this one. It was somebody not with us at the moment, but somebody we all know quite well. Now, wait, is it Dragon? Is Dragon the true killer? Explain how this all fits together. Hold on, Mouse. So, okay, so this has actually managed to get us alive then. But that would mean Dragon's the true killer of Amadeus Bowen. Hold on, Mouse. Are you thinking clearly? You just leveled a lot of accusations, and most of them don't make a lot of sense. Are you feeling okay? I'm feeling fine, Monkey. The question is, are you feeling okay? It must be unnerving, the truth being so close to being exposed at this point. Mouse, please, I beg of you to calm down. Do your breathing exercises. Enough of the goddamn breathing exercises. How can you talk so calmly to me, you murderer? Murderer? Monkey began nervously tapping her fingers. Mouse, please, I'm begging you to listen to me. What would your father say? Do you really think he'd think you were correct? I'm just trying to save you from the shame of being wrong. Ouch. Low blow, Monkey. I'm right, I am. I have evidence. Do you really? Or do you have theories? Your father had evidence. He was correct. He was still saying Amadeus was murdered by someone other than Aaron Morris. But emulating him being wrong, that'll bring you shame. I'm not going to. I'm right, damn it, I am. She's aggravating us. She knows a weak point mentally. I said this, but for some reason, my energy was being sapped. Monkey said this was such conviction, I started to waver. Well, my theories, yeah. Mouse, you're not your father. Exactly, we're alive, and he's not. I mean, it's a cruel thing to say, but my point is that we're survivors, we will continue fighting. You're not correct. You're gonna feel shame if you continue. My faith began to dwindle. With everyone's eyes on me, was I about to be a fool? Was I wrong? Monkey, would you please at least allow Mouse to make her accusation first? Ox? Mouse, I can't say I know you too well. However, in the short time I've known you, you've shown yourself to be quite bright. If you're convinced that Monkey is the culprit, then make your reasoning known. Frankly, nothing Monkey has said should have swayed that conviction. It was barely a coherent point. Yeah, you're right, Ox. So can it, Monkey? If you're innocent... Oh yeah, so can it, Monkey? If you're innocent, you should let me speak. So this is how it should be. That's not a face that I'm expecting. Interesting. Very well then, I'll listen to what you have to say. But Mouse, you're accusing me of something quite heinous. To be so cruel to a friend. Surely your logic is alright. Is airtight, right? If it isn't, I'm sure I'll be sure to point it out. Fair enough, Monkey. I'm sorry, I'm still interrupting. Please be heard. Okay, I will. Good. It's good to be heard. So then, I'll listen to what you have to say. Like you already suggested, let's start at the top. You claim that somebody other than Aaron Morris murdered Amadeus Bowen. Somebody not in this room. Tell us who. Who is the mysterious murderer? Okay then, let's begin. Amadeus murderer, and your conspirator is none other than Rooster. Rooster? Yeah, makes sense. Oh, so are you sure about this? Hold on. It's, let's not be upset about all this. Yeah, Rooster was someone looking for someone. He was also looking, yeah. Rooster, Mouse, I'm serious. Are you okay? Quit with the gaslighting shtick. I'm not falling for it. The fact that Rooster's behind this is pretty good. I'm happy about this. I don't really care about it being Monkey. Monkey's, but Rooster was just a pain. I'm glad it's him. I'm not gaslighting you at all, just concerned that you're making such questionable theories. You sound like how Brian did. But I said I'd hear you out, so I will. I thought, though I have to wonder how you'll be proving that an absolute buffoon like Rooster somehow managed to commit a crime of the decade while avoiding detection. So go on. It's actually not too complicated when you think about it. First off, let's give Rooster credit. He's a lot smarter than he comes across. And he's a hell of an actor. Unfortunately, that's true. He had been stalking Bone for a while, vaguely aware of what he had been doing. He was looking for someone. And on the day of the appointment with the man, he figured it was the perfect opportunity. The night before, he swiped Bone's MasterCard in the bar's restroom. What's this? And how do you tend to make such a claim? Surely Rooster couldn't pull something... Because the killer of Dog had gloves on. Something like that. Monkey's right, Mouse. How could he take a wallet, pull out the MasterCard and put it back in Bone's pocket in the restroom? He never had to do it at all. He simply swapped Bone's wallet for one of his own. A wallet of his own? Like I said, it's a lot of preparation went into this. This wallet of Rooster's became irrelevant later, but for now, let's just leave it at this was how Rooster got his hand on the MasterCard. The following day is that his MasterCard was the day that he used the MasterCard before climbing up the stairs to enter the security room and mess with things up. He went upstairs and was directed to the right waiting room. There, another opportunity for Bone was waiting. However, he needed to get away. So he feigned illness to get to the restroom right before Sheep would go to the first floor to get breakfast as usual. In the bathroom, Rooster finally put the first of his many devious tricks into play. His wallet was swapped with Bowen, had a speaker installed in it. Through the speaker, he imitated Bowen, talking about how he proved Bowen's blackmailing schemes. This was likely a bluff. Rooster probably only had generic suspicions of Bowen's actions brought on by Bowen was blackmailing his parents. However, Rooster was a good enough actor to convince Amadeus Bowen that he was in trouble. I've got to remember Rooster. Rooster ordered Bowen to do something in his office first, then opened up his office window to make his way to the storage room by climbing on the window. Now, hold on just a moment. Sure you're aware how absurd this all sounds. How could you possibly know this much? I don't. A lot of guesswork. The details of various places could be completely wrong. I'm just weaving a narrative, and I'm not vouching for it 100% authentic. Even still, Mouse, you're not making any sense. Amadeus Bowen isn't a man who climbs across windowsills just because a random voice tells him to. There's creativity and then there's absurdity. That's... Now, Monkey, what have you got against creativity? Okay, so that's why Monkey targeted Snake, I guess, because obviously Snake was in the storage room at some point. How boring would theories be if they weren't creative? Snake? Apologies for stealing your spotlight, Mouse. I just thought I'd chime in. To Monkey's point, I imagine Bone wasn't in the habit of such hopping across windowsills. However, if he felt like his entire livelihood was being threatened, some minor physical exertion is fairly meaningless. More importantly, it wasn't a 300-foot drop. It was only a second-story building. Bowen was a man still in shape. Something like this was nothing. Right. Snake's exactly right. So then, Rooster went to meet Bowen in the storage closet. How could he have gotten past Snake? Snake was still signing off on this. Weren't you on watch? Surely, you would have seen Rooster through the window, unless you just crawl underneath the window. The thing is, the door window has a fatal flaw. It's like head height, isn't it? If you straddled the wall, the door it's attached to, and ducked under the windowsill, you could evade the line of sight rather easily. Oh, thinking about it, yes, Mouse is correct. If Rooster moved like that, he's quite easily could have gotten around my size. God damn it, Snake. Seriously? Fine. So then, what next? Rooster confronted Bowen in the dark closet. There he imitated Bowen into doing two key things. Afterwards, Rooster had no use for him. It was time for Rooster to move with the murder part of his plan, his fault. He took the metal wire he had brought, wrapped it around Bowen's throat, and began to strangle. However, this was when something happened that Rooster didn't expect. Bowen took out the golden knife he had always kept with him, tried to fight back. I can't imagine this was particularly effective, but Bowen was probably able to nick Rooster, getting blood on the knife. But when Bowen finally passed out, finally being choked out well enough, time for Rooster to begin the cover-up. He locked the storage room window. He confiscated the knife with a damning bit of DNA evidence on it, and he swapped his own phony wallet back with Bowen's original wallet. And most importantly, he dragged Bowen's body and stuffed it under Snake's large hollow statue. Oh yeah, because it was on the trolley, but Mouse never said it. But Sheep never said anything about putting it on. You're not suggesting? I am indeed. After putting the body there, Rooster put the cardboard box under the body and placed it on the dolly. Rooster had done a lot of research before coming into this appointment. This statue being here was entirely within his calculations. Finally, Rooster slipped up out of sight the storage room and exited the rest room, returned to the guest room. In the guest room, Rooster used Bowen's phone right in front of Tiger's eyes to bring Morris to Bowen's office. Ah, I know what's coming up. How will you attempt to rationalize this, I wonder? I'll be honest, I don't quite know how Rooster managed to pull it off. However, when Morris walked in, he heard a pre-recorded message that Rooster had made Bowen give in the storage room into his phone's microphone. Pre-recorded message, huh? Good theory, Mouse. Still unique as always. But how was this message played to Mr. Morris? Remember, no calls were made, no speakers were only connected to the computer, and no files were deleted. That's, well, there's gotta be some answer, right? Some answer. I thought you were going to supply that answer, Mouse. I have an idea, actually. Go for it, Cheap. Well, I know this sounds kind of dumb, but if Rooster was really prepared, he could have done something like programming his own innocuous-looking website. So then, before Bowen left through the window, Rooster could have set up that website that minimized the screen. At the glance, the website would look normal, but it wouldn't raise any alarms to the police if they searched the web history. However, since it was programmed by Rooster, it could secretly be used to play a live message at a whim, or something like that. A pre-programmed website. You people are getting absurd. That's right, it's absurd. But isn't that the point? The more ludicrous of the plan, the harder it would be to imagine someone doing so crazy. Sheep's exactly right. Yeah, Rooster wants to go big. Can't put him down for that. Besides, this isn't the only solution. There's other outside the box ways of giving Morris your 5 message without a trace. She isn't raising one possibility. I see. Very helpful, Sheep. Thank you. Now then, what's next? I'm sure you're aware of this after Morris drove away, and yet a stack of cash with Bowen's fingerprints was found in his car. When do you suppose that got there? Rooster could have done that before he arrived at the building. I recall Morris's car was cheap, and it was a kind I might have. And also, Rooster had a chance to take Bowen's wallet. It wouldn't have been hard to break in and plant the cash then. Oh my, even Horse is jumping in to correct me. How sad. Well, Horse, Rooster had not yet gained any opportunity to access Bowen's safe. How do you explain that? He didn't need to, he had the wallet. He probably just took a couple of bills out of Bowen's wallet and put on top and bottom of the stacks of, and voila, trick complete. Always with the delayed text then prompts Snake to bring the statue to Bowen's office. Like Snake mentions, it's heavier than expected because there was a full corpse inside. Snake left, and right after the amount of time passed, Rooster barged into the Bowen's office. Immediately, he locked the door behind him. He couldn't afford to let Sheep in until he was ready. He next unloaded Bowen's corpse into the statue and dragged him into the center of the office. He put Morris's phone back into where it belonged. What I hate though is that I thought it was Rooster, and then I backtracked and thought it was Tiger. Then I thought it was the both of them. So, and I'm just, unfortunately, I just accused Tiger when Tiger's literally been innocent. But Morris's phone, if he put Morris's phone back where it belonged in Morris's pocket, and then Rooster bludgeoned Bowen with a statue on his desk, creating the crime scene. Rooster continued to drag the body into Bowen's safe, with Rooster unlocked using the code. The second demand Rooster had made with the storage room was the code Bowen's safe. Who knows how Rooster got that out of Bowen, but he clearly did. When Rooster opened up the safe, he knew he couldn't hide the amount of money that would need to be missing on his person. He took a plastic bag and a lighter he had been keeping in his pocket, piled a load of money into it, and opened the window and then burned it. No money was ever stolen, not with that was never what it was about. Rooster then picked up the statue murder weapon, and placed it in the bag. Then he chucked it out of the window in a bush or something, to later be picked up. He closed the window and locked it, and then he unlocked the door in the office and simply acted casual, waiting for Sheep to catch him. And just like that, the perfect crime is committed, perfectly pinned on Morris. What a spectacular work of fiction, Mouse. You're really calling it fiction, though. In all of our sessions, I never realized you had the talent for fiction writing. However, I'm sad to say, that little work of fiction that you just spun makes no means by no means is definitive proof of anything. For instance, let us say that your explanation is how the crime went down was largely accurate. However, the true culprit was Sheep. What? Does she not possess every opportunity that Rooster had? No. Well, yes. So then, why are you accusing her of the DV's murder? Is it a lack of a motive? But of course, Sheep would have motive after working under a despicable man for so long. In my opinion, Sheep was more likely to be knowledgeable enough to pull off such a crime. That's the issue, Monkey. If Sheep was the killer, there would have been many other chances for her to get away with murder. Fact of the matter is, she never would have needed such an elaborate plan. Actually, the fact that we were able to rule Sheep out like we did was a stroke of luck, of amazing luck. Sure, Rooster intended on Morris being the prime suspect, but he couldn't have counted on Snake never taking his eyes off the hallway. He couldn't even be sure Snake was even looking down the hallway. Had any one of them Had any one of a number of factors gone differently, we could have torn between sheep or killers. Bunny's right. Yeah, he was right, but he had to say it in a weird way. It confused me a bit. To go to such lengths to hide your involvement, only to be a slightly lesser suspect, is that implausible? No? Right. That was the expected result. All your arguments so far have been fairly standard. Good. So then what of it? Congratulations, Mouse, you've solved the cold case where dozens of cops could not. Very well done. Rooster actually killed Amadeus Morris. I'm still counting it as I called it, even if I backtracked. But, God damn it, Rooster. Oh, I knew I didn't like you. What does that have to do with me at all? He was wearing a glove. How can he... Yeah. It has to do with you because you're the partner in crime in setting up the Zodiac race, perhaps. It was the original impetus for all of it. Oh? Wasn't it Brian's idea? Not initially. And why did Rooster set up such a ludicrous incident? I can think of a number of reasons. For one, Rooster's career had been flagging, hadn't it? He was on the cusp edge of irrelevance. Something need to revitalize his career. Some major incident that would thrust him into the limelight as a hero. I think the Zodiac race certainly qualifies. There was also some people Rooster would certainly appreciate being dead. However, as already seen, Rooster is a complete paranoid perfectionist. Just to kill one man, he came up with a thoroughly elaborate plan to divert all suspicion, and even if that wasn't enough. After all, there were three people who threatened to ruin everything for him, weren't there? Snake, who moved the body and such. Dragon and Mouse. I don't know why Dragon and Mouse. First up, there was the local gang leader who directly saw him the night he stole the Bones MasterCard. Okay. Maybe in an attempt not to have eyewitnesses identify him, Rooster left the restroom through the window or something. And in doing so, Dragon got a good look at Rooster, and he knew that. But he didn't know that Dragon was entirely wasted at that time, and wouldn't remember the incident in the slightest. Wait, so something like that happened? There was also the issue of Amadeus' son, who had proved to be incredibly unstable. He was investigating the crime of his own, convinced that his dad was innocent. Worse, perhaps, Rooster's stalking revealed that he was bouncing theories off of Snake and the other person who could ruin it, as well as Dog. After all, Snake was the one who could attest to the weight of the statue, could attest to the outer plate cardboard under it. You must have been so confused why he never brought something like that up beforehand. You didn't know that Snake was also out of it at the time. He barely noticed those details. But at this point, Snake was the only one who knew such details, so as long as he was alive, he posed a threat. You're saying this was done to kill 3 people? It seems incredibly elaborate. Why would Rooster go to such lengths? Well, first off, it was worth noting that Rooster planned being a super famous star. If that were ever the case, a case like Bowen's hanging in the past would be a glaring weakness. If a slither of proof remained, his stardom could attract reporters who would dig into matters and might find witnesses like Dragon, Snake, and Brian. Yeah, so that's why Pig was killed, right? Because she was technically a journalist. But you're right. Were it that, this whole thing could have been incredibly unreasonable. I'm not going to claim to know all the answers, Monkey, but I would guess he was influenced, just like Brian was influenced into starting the killing game by you. I thought you said Rooster came up with the killing game. Rooster came up with the needs for one, but like I said, the reason this whole thing would work is because you lure someone else doing the dirty work for you. You were Brian's therapist, right? It was no mistake that he winded up the way he did, was it? You led him there. You did discourage fantasies like the Zodiac race, in fact. You were his accomplice in setting it all that up, weren't you? And once he'd gone so far as to prepare things, like the collars, the coding for it, you knew it was time to strike. The reason why a bunch of more deserving people weren't thrown into the death game was because you needed to leave a room for 5 people. Yourself, Rooster, Snake Dragon, and me. Why us? Why us? But yeah. And you, and me. For whatever reason, you decided I was someone that I needed to be involved in this. For whatever reason, you all decided I was be another person you'd have to clean up after. You know your logic is strong when you have to start it with whatever reason. And surely Brian would have objected to this, no? He would have. Which is why, before you could hold your own personal voidire, you actually killed Brian long before the actual Zodiac race could start. Through poison, perhaps. Yes, with poison, you caught me. But in all seriousness, you expect someone to believe this? In case you forgot, Rooster and I were participants. How could we be hosting? Because it was pre-recorded, some of it. How could we How could we be hosting a game like that? In case you forgot, the majority of the game was automated, with many messages pre-recorded. Perhaps the trickiest part was during the speech at the beginning, with everyone crowded together. It was critical for you to establish early that things were being puppeteered by someone else, someone who was alive. So you showed a live feed of Brian's corpse, with the face covered by a mask, and with his butterfly tattoo meaningfully exposed. But in setting it up, you asked for us to do one key thing, and to put on our masks. Which is when Rooster was talking, okay. Which was awfully unnecessary, that would never really come back up again. We were supposed to sit down, face the screen, and put on our animal masks. It is my belief that you had customly rigged it so that one of you put your animal mask, put on your animal mask, Monkey, a small microphone inside the mask, or perhaps in your collar was to put through the voice filter and played through the speakers. This was why you set things up the way you did. But if that was the case, you surely would have heard me speaking. We might not have. No, you definitely would have. No, I don't think so. I wasn't sitting that far from the group. Then were you whispering? Were you? You whispered, but the program raised your volume. I always saw the Jade Emperor's intonations were off. I wouldn't suppose that you have any proof of this claim, Mouse. Of course I do. Isn't it odd that you were the only one not to speak a word during the Jade Emperor's speech? Mouse, this is not proof of anything. Apologies. Yeah, but you did speak. You were the only one who did speak in the cat's. Okay. But I wasn't feeling particularly chatty at the moment. Fine, it doesn't prove anything other than the possibility that I'm right. Still, that's enough. Anyway, from there you made sure that between you and Rooster, at least one of you was usually away from the group. You managed the game through a custom app each of you have on having a phone. More to the point, a lot of the game was run automatically. However, when you tried to set it up, you were... So why did Rooster kill Ox? Why did Rooster claim to have a vendetta against Ox, Bunny, and Dragon? I mean, fair enough for Dragon, fair enough. Ox and Bunny. Well, I guess and Horse. But then again, yeah. Alright. When you tried to set up where you'd kill both Dragon and Snake, making it seem like they'd both already each other's tablets, you were unable to make a move. That's because Dog and had Bunny gather everybody and put both constant surveillance. I find it funny that my co-conspirator, the one you'd think was equally behind all of this, is now dead. Does that not act in some... No, not really, because it means you're getting rid of evidence. Not really. After all, he wasn't behind this game. Nor was Brian, or some other third party. You were. Oh. I can't claim to know why you did it, Monkey. But I've had to guess you simply gotten the taste of hosting something like this, and you did it some sick sort of enjoyment. Whatever the case may be, you didn't inform Rooster of what you were doing beforehand, which is why he reacted so poorly. And you established that this game was run by a third party early on by using the opposite trick that you used last time. In fact, this time, you're the only person to interact with the cat. Because the cat warmed up the device strapped around your chest and threatened everyone else to be silent. Of course, she made everyone else be silent. You couldn't reveal that there was nobody other than on the other end of the microphone. A little interaction you had with the cats, pure theatre, recorded and rehearsed. And what next? Are you going to claim that I used my position as the mastermind to rig the game? You didn't exactly break the rules, but like Snake, you definitely played a rigged game. Like Snake, you definitely played a rigged game. Huh? You grabbed the tiger clubs. Rooster took the tiger spades. He didn't know that he'd actually gotten it at the time, though. At some point in round 2, you secretly told him to give his card to Dog. Scared of being revealed as he complied. Meanwhile, you discarded Tiger Club back into the communal table. That's the only way this action of the game could be explained. The deception of the pair of traders. After all, the rest of us clearly did what we said, or else Tiger wouldn't have had 6 points at the end of round 2. Most, I thought we agreed that the trader killed Pig. But Bunny can attest for my whereabouts when Pig was killed, can't you, Bunny? But not for Rooster. I can, but... You see, you were mistaken, Mouse. You might be accounted for when we heard the scream, but that wasn't Pig's scream. Yeah, it was some recording of a scream on a timer, right? Pig's body was in front of the computer. And being the mastermind of the game, it shouldn't have been possible to exit the program. Access the internet and do a random woman screaming, a sound effect, and set it to play it in a number of minutes. I think Pig's death was a tragic accident. She could have saved us all, but while she was hacking the computer, you happened to notice what she was doing. I noticed what she was doing. Wouldn't she have locked the door before going to work? She might have not known the door had a thumb lock. I mean, I would have missed it. Exactly. Pig was surprisingly smart, but she was also kind of dumb in some ways. I think she started hacking without thinking of locking the door, perhaps without even thinking to close it. When you discovered what she was doing, you knew she needed to be stopped. So you silently approached from behind, rolled up your sleeve, and slit her throat. You covered her mouth to stop her from making noise. Before you could be stopped, of course, you could have just stopped there. But as I've shown, you're really not the type to leave just leave good enough alone. Why have a clean murder when you can create a mystery? First, you made the murder weapon look like the golden knife from Dog's boot. Perhaps to disguise the murder weapon. It was possible that the actual thing that killed her was not Dog's golden knife, but Amadeus's. I don't know. What I do know is that you then set up the scene where we were to discover. You started by taping down the windows and shutting off the lights. Then you emptied the bookshelf and moved it. And then, most importantly, you leaned it against a yardstick that stuck through the crack between the doors of its hinges. A yardstick? Yeah, a yardstick. A ton of classes have them. Couldn't have held they yourself while moving from inside the room to the outside. So you glued it there. This is what residue was about. Normally the bookshelf wouldn't be too heavy, but the angle wouldn't have allowed it. You to lean it there on the yardstick. But with the books removed, the bookshelf moved, and it was possible. Once you exited the classroom, you removed the yardstick from its glued position to the bookshelf. It fell into place. Then, when you went to the first floor and washed your hands of the blood and returned to the library to wait. Bunny happened upon you as lucky coincidence. What you're really counting on was Ox's presence in the nearby room. When the scream occurred, you ran out, and a small group formed around the door. Being the last to enter the room, you were able to apply the glue as you entered. In the darkness, you were able to shove me aside to frame it on somebody already inside. I have an observation, Mouse. This is all very good method of murder you invented. However, could Bunny not have used it in my stead? He had the same opportunity. Both sheep and having the same opportunity as Rooster and Bunny the same opportunity as Monkey. So are we saying that sheep and monkeys the people? Dude. Dude may be a douche, but he's not the killer. I was listening when Snake was talking earlier, something about the room being locked. I'm guessing that you're doing it. You didn't want anyone stumbling across the scene when you were setting it all up. Only thing that makes sense, at least. Now, here's where things get good. Snake says that after he came across the locked door, he went down to see Rooster and Bunny. And then Bunny leaves and has this window of opportunity you're going off about. Don't you get it? He even free until after the murder. It must have been murderer must have been in the room. But my dragon, believing in Bunny and listening to Snake, how far you've come. Dragon explained it well. You're the one who could take advantage of this trick, Monkey. Why is she still in her pajamas, by the way? That's something I'm never going to understand. She just goes everywhere in banana-themed pajamas. That would bring us to Rooster's murder. He was probably sick of your stuff, to be quite honest. He pulled you to the library and asked what the hell you'd been thinking about this whole other death game, and now killing Pig. You decided that at this point he was more of a liability than anything else, so you struck him with a nearby heavy book. Rooster collapsed and fell down by the desk. Meanwhile, you were looking for an appropriate weapon. You landed on a pen. Gripping the pen, you leaned down and stabbed Rooster in the neck twice. Then, before someone could find you, you left the library and went downstairs. However, the incident had gotten blood on your right hand, and you made your way to the restroom to wash it off. So that's your theory. It's a little sloppier than I would have liked, with some potential holes, but I suppose it works. Well, you've gotten a lot of reason as to why I'm some big bad villain. Anything else you want to tack on? Alright, I just now figured out what Stog's dying message was. His dying message? Yeah, when he died with his hands. 3. When he covered his mouth, he was referring to hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, 3 wise monkeys. He was trying to signal monkey to me. I see, that's a very vague dying message, dog. 3 wise monkeys, really? I don't remember their names off by heart. And on the other hand, one of the third one is speak no evil, right? The one that was showing three fingers. That wasn't 3 fingers. It was an M. M for monkey. Very clever. Alright then. Your work is a little sloppy, relying entirely on too much guesswork to simply being wrong on a number of matters. However, you managed to reach a conclusion with about 2 rounds sooner than I thought you would have. So I guess I'd give you a passing grade if I were to evaluate. Are you really treating this as a? I mean, we're in school. It was fun enough to watch someone break my work down like that. Then that means... Have you all not gathered it by now? Mouse was largely accurate on our hypothesis. A wave of unease washed over the crowd. It was a strange blend of indignation, surprise, and fear. But for me, there was an added element. It's a shame, though. Now that the chaos was starting to sink in, I planned on having more fun with you all. Preying on your weaknesses, getting you to turn on each other. Then how did ye escape? If Snake, because Snake killed Rooster, so how did Monkey escape? But I suppose that's no longer possible. Why? Monkey, why? Why, Monkey? I trusted you. You were always a good therapist to me. And that it means I'm innocent? No, of course not. I guess I never knew you well enough. But still, at this point, don't you at least owe us an explanation? I thought you'd just give us an awfully long-winded explanation. Are you sure you want to hear it from me? I want to know what would drive you to something like this. Okay then. I suppose it would have been nice to exercise to run through things a little more clearly. Now where to begin? You know what? I'll save it for the next time. We've already gone over. Two lengths worth. But yeah, I smug about it being Rooster. Did not expect Monkey. Still sad that in the true ending people have to die. Like, so. But yeah. If you've had fun, I hope to see you on the next one. With that, goodbye.